Rain-slicked streets gleamed under sodium lamps, casting elongated shadows that twisted like secrets across the pavement. Elena Vasquez trudged home, the chill seeping through her wool coat, mingling with the acrid scent of exhaust and distant thunder. Her boots clicked against wet concrete, each step echoing the hollow rhythm of her exhaustion, while the bitter taste of overbrewed coffee lingered on her tongue from another late-night deadline. As a freelance journalist chasing elusive stories in the underbelly of the city, she had grown accustomed to the grind, but tonight, the weight pressed heavier, her mind swirling with fragments of unfinished articles and unspoken doubts about her marriage. In the dim glow of her apartment, Elena shed her coat, the fabric heavy with dampness, and sank into the worn leather armchair. Her fingers absently traced the edge of a silver locket around her neck, its chain slightly frayed, a remnant from childhood that she never removed, symbolizing the fragile threads of family she had lost long ago. Memories flooded unbidden, a sunlit backyard where she and her sister played hide-and-seek, the laughter sharp and sweet, before their parents' bitter divorce tore them apart. She was 7 then, her sister 5, vanishing into the custody of a distant aunt, letters promised but never sent. The ache resurfaced like a phantom limb, blending with the present fatigue. Marcus, her husband of 8 years, an architect whose blueprints promised stability, had been distant lately, his late nights at the office stretching into silences at home. She watched the clock tick past midnight, the room filled with the low hum of the refrigerator and the faint drip from the faucet, each sound amplifying her isolation. Elena poured a glass of red wine, the liquid swirling dark like blood in the low light, and let her thoughts drift to the routines that had become her anchor: morning jogs through fog-shrouded parks, interviews with shadowy sources, the satisfaction of piecing together truths others hid. Yet beneath it all, a nagging unease gnawed, as if the foundations of her life were cracking unseen. Elena's phone buzzed on the side table, a sharp vibration cutting through the quiet like a knife. She reached for it absently, expecting a work email, but it was Marcus's device he had left behind that morning, identical to hers, often mistaken in their hurried routines. The screen lit up with a notification, a text preview flashing before her eyes. "Can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Last night was..." The words trailed into ellipsis, but the sender's name Isabel ignited a spark of dread in her chest. Her pulse quickened, the wine glass slipping slightly in her grip, spilling a drop that stained the carpet like an accusation. Compelled by a surge of betrayal, she unlocked the phone with their shared code, her breath shallow and ragged. Scrolling through the messages, each one unfolded like a venomous bloom, late-night confessions of longing, shared jokes laced with intimacy, plans for clandestine meetings in shadowed cafes. The air grew thick, the scent of her own perfume mixing with rising panic, her skin prickling with heat despite the cool room. Memories intertwined painfully: Marcus's recent absences, his distracted touches, the way he averted his eyes during dinners. But deeper, a childhood echo resurfaced. The day her sister was taken away, the confusion of loss, the unanswered questions that shaped her relentless pursuit of truth in her journalism. This discovery shattered her fragile equilibrium, forging a burning resolve to confront the deception, to unearth the full extent of the affair. The locket felt heavier now, its frayed chain a mocking reminder of broken bonds. Elena's mind raced through possibilities following him, hacking deeper into his digital life, but the immediate stake pierced her: her marriage, her sense of self, teetering on collapse. She set the phone down, hands trembling, the room spinning slightly as the catalyst took hold, propelling her into a vortex of suspicion and determination. Driven by the raw wound of discovery, Elena slipped out into the night, the rain now a relentless downpour that soaked her instantly. She hailed a cab, the vinyl seat sticky under her, the driver's radio crackling with static-laced jazz that mirrored her turbulent thoughts. Directing him to the address gleaned from the text's a dimly lit bar on the city's edge, she gripped the locket, its cool metal grounding her amid the storm of emotions. The ride blurred past neon signs and huddled figures, each passing light strobing memories of her lost sister, whispered bedtime stories, shared secrets under blankets, the abrupt severance that left her adrift. Arriving, she pushed through the bar's heavy door, the air thick with cigarette smoke and the tang of spilled whiskey, low murmurs blending into a haze. There, at a corner booth, sat Isabel, a woman with strikingly familiar features, dark hair cascading like Elena's own, eyes holding a haunted depth. Their gazes locked across the room, an electric charge passing unspoken, tension coiling like smoke. Isabel's posture stiffened, a flicker of recognition crossing her face, though Elena couldn't place it yet. The encounter crackled with subtext, Isabel's fingers drumming nervously on a glass, Elena's approach slow and deliberate, each step decomposing into hesitation, resolve, confrontation. No words exchanged, but the air hummed with accusation and curiosity, Isabel's subtle shift away revealing defensiveness, while Elena's clenched jaw betrayed her inner turmoil. The locket seemed to pulse against her skin, a motif of fractured connections now alive in this stranger's presence. This meeting ignited the central dynamic mirrored pain, clashing worlds propelling Elena deeper into the mystery, the stakes personal and profound. Dawn broke over the city in muted grays, the rain reduced to a fine mist that clung to Elena's skin like unspoken regrets as she navigated the crowded morning streets. Her apartment felt tainted now, every corner echoing the betrayal unearthed the night before, so she sought refuge in her routine, pounding the pavement in a jog through the fog-shrouded park, the earthy scent of wet soil mixing with her labored breaths. Muscles burned in rhythmic protest, each stride decomposing into push-off, mid-air suspension, and impact, propelling her forward while her mind churned through the implications of Isabel's existence. Back at her desk in a cluttered coffee shop, the bitter steam of espresso rising to meet the clatter of keyboards, Elena delved deeper into the digital trail. She cross-referenced the texts with Marcus's calendar, her fingers flying across the laptop keys in precise sequences, opening apps, typing queries, scanning results. The first consequences materialized: a shared hotel receipt from weeks ago, buried in his email, the paper trail leading to more meetings, each one a stab to her core. Introspection flooded her. Why had she ignored the signs, the late night scented with unfamiliar perfume, the way his blueprints now seemed like maps to hidden lives? She recalled her own fractured youth, the divorce that scattered her family, leaving her to forge independence through journalism, chasing stories that exposed others' deceptions while burying her own vulnerabilities. The locket dangled against her chest, its frayed chain catching on her shirt, an evolving symbol now of not just loss, but potential reconnection laced with poison. Pursuing the truth meant unraveling her marriage, but the external goal burned brighter: to confront Isabel again, to demand answers through actions unspoken. As patrons bustled around her, their murmurs a distant hum, Elena mapped out her next move, the changed world sharpening her resolve amid emerging fallout. Trust eroded, isolation deepened. The complication arose swiftly as Elena tailed Marcus from his office, the midday sun piercing through skyscrapers in harsh slants that cast deceptive patterns on the sidewalks. She followed at a distance, her heart pounding with the acrid tang of car fumes and the distant wail of sirens, each step breaking into cautious advance, paused behind cover, and resumed pursuit. He entered a nondescript bookstore, its shelves laden with dusty tomes, the musty scent enveloping her as she slipped in after, pretending to browse while observing his hushed exchange with a clerk. There, a new obstacle emerged: Victor Hale, a grizzled private investigator with a rumpled trench coat and a knowing squint, handed Marcus a folder thick with photos images of Isabel, candid and intimate. Victor's role as informant twisted the narrative, hired perhaps by Marcus for his own suspicions, or worse, to cover tracks. Elena's mind whirled with possibilities, memories weaving in, her own use of sources in stories, the thrill of unearthed secrets now turned inward. Approaching Victor later outside, the alliance formed tentatively through gestures. A shared cigarette in the alley, its smoke curling like questions, his nod acknowledging her desperation without words. He slid her a business card, fingers rough from years of digging, the texture imprinting on her palm. Introspection deepened. Aligning with this stranger meant crossing ethical lines she preached against in her articles, yet the chemistry of shared purpose crackled, his worldview of cynical pragmatism mirroring her growing distrust. The locket warmed against her skin, its motif evolving into a talisman of forged bonds amid betrayal. But the test came immediately. Victor's subtle warning threw a glance at passing shadows, hinting at external forces watching, complicating her pursuit and forcing her to weigh the risks of this uneasy partnership. Evening descended with a velvet chill, Elena retreating to a secluded bench in the park, the rustle of leaves underfoot mingling with the faint metallic taste of blood from biting her lip too hard. The pursuit exacted its toll. She sifted through Victor's pilfered photos, each image a visceral punch. Isabel laughing in Marcus's arms, their forms intertwined in stolen moments. Actions decomposed into trembling flips of pages, pauses to steady breaths, and forced continuation, the glossy surfaces slick under her fingers. The personal price mounted internally, conflict raging as she grappled with the erosion of her identity. Memories surged. The day she met Marcus, his steady gaze promising the family she craved, now crumbling like the frayed chain of her locket, which she clutched fiercely, its edges digging into her palm. Introspection poured forth. How much of herself would she sacrifice for truth? Her career, potentially compromised by this vigilante path, her emotional armor, cracking under waves of jealousy and longing for her lost sister. The alliance with Victor demanded discretion, pulling her from assignments, her editor's missed calls vibrating ignored in her pocket. Sensory overload built the cool bench wood seeping through her jeans, the distant hum of traffic like accusing whispers. Yet the goal persisted, driving her to shadow Isabel's apartment next, the rising cost manifesting in sleepless eyes and a hollow ache, forcing her to confront the shattering of her illusions. The motif of the locket now symbolized not just fracture, but the painful mending that might destroy her in the process, leaving her forever altered in this deepening spiral. Twilight cloaked the city in deepening indigo, the air heavy with the metallic tang of impending storm as Elena met Victor in a fog-shrouded alley behind his dingy office. The gravel crunched under her boots, each step breaking into cautious placement, shift of weight, and forward lean, while the distant rumble of thunder echoed her mounting unease. Victor handed her a manila envelope, its edges worn and stained, the contents spilling out under the flicker of a bare bowl documents, faded photos, adoption records yellowed by time. As she sifted through them, the illusion shattered in waves, birth certificates linking Isabel to her own family tree, a shared maiden name buried under aliases, childhood snapshots mirroring her memories. Sensory details assaulted her, the rough texture of paper against her fingertips, the faint musty scent of archived ink, the bitter bile rising in her throat. Introspection cascaded. All these years, her sister hadn't vanished into oblivion but resurfaced in the most treacherous way, entangled with Marcus, recontextualizing the affair not as mere infidelity but a twisted convergence of lost bloodlines. Memories wove seamlessly, the divorce courtroom's sterile chill, her small hand slipping from her sister's as they were separated, the void that fueled her journalistic hunts for hidden truths. Now, those pursuits circled back, exposing her own life as the ultimate deception. The locket burned against her skin, its frayed chain now a symbol of ironic reunion, fraying further under the weight of this revelation. Everything shifted, her goal from exposing betrayal to navigating a familial minefield, the counterpart no longer a rival but a mirror of abandoned kin, herself not the victim but part of a larger, fractured narrative. The alley seemed to close in, shadows lengthening like accusations, as the major reveal upended her world. Night deepened into inky blackness, Elena pacing her apartment floor, the wooden planks creaking under her restless steps, each circuit decomposing into hurried strides, pivots at walls, and resumed circuits. The revelation pulsed like a wound, the air thick with the scent of cooling takeout untouched on the counter, the faint buzz of neon from outside vibrating through the windows. She clutched the documents, fingers crumpling edges, as internal conflict raged. Introspection delved deep. Confront Isabel and risk unraveling the fragile threads of rediscovered family, or expose Marcus and sever the marriage that had anchored her solitude. Memories interwove the warmth of sisterly hugs in their shared bedroom, contrasted with Marcus's tender sketches of their future home, now tainted. The choice loomed, defining her trajectory. Silence would preserve the illusion of normalcy but fester the betrayal, while action could reclaim her past yet destroy her present. Victor's alliance hovered in her mind, his cynical lens urging exposure, but her heart tugged toward reconciliation, a mirror to Isabel's own possible desperation. The locket dangled, its motif evolving into a pendulum of decision, swaying with her movements. Sensory layers built, the cool draft slipping under the door, the salty taste of unshed tears, the distant honk of traffic like insistent prods. Faced with this, Elena weighed the intangible want for kinship against the tangible goal of truth, the difficulty etching lines on her face. Ultimately, the pull toward revelation won, shifting her path from passive sufferer to active seeker, but at the cost of potential irreversible loss. Midnight's hush enveloped the dimly lit street as Elena approached Isabel's modest brownstone, the stone steps slick from earlier rain, her ascent breaking into tentative foot placements, hand gripping the railing's cold iron, and final stance at the door. No turning back now, the choice actuated through this unannounced visit, burning bridges with Marcus by delving into forbidden territory without his knowledge. She slipped a note under the door, a photo from the documents, annotated with their shared birth date, the paper's whisper against the threshold sealing her commitment. Sensory immersion heightened, the damp chill seeping into her bones, the faint floral scent wafting from a nearby window box, the rapid thrum of her pulse in her ears. Introspection surged. This act committed her to a dangerous path, exposing vulnerabilities long buried, potentially inviting retaliation or rejection, but necessary to forge ahead. Memories flashed, the empty chair at family dinners post-divorce, now echoed in this solitary confrontation. The locket felt like an anchor, its frayed chain a testament to bonds tested beyond repair. As she retreated into shadows, the point of no return crystallized, alliances strained, marriage teetering, herself thrust into peril where truths could wound deeper than lies. Victor's warnings echoed unspoken, hinting at unseen watchers, but she pressed on, the new trajectory a labyrinth of familial intrigue and psychological peril. The city exhaled into a rare stillness at dusk, the air crisp with the scent of fallen leaves and distant wood smoke as Elena lingered in a shadowed cafe across from Isabel's brownstone. She sipped black coffee, its scalding bitterness grounding her amid the soft clink of cups and murmured conversations, her vigil decomposing into watchful glances, adjustments in her seat, and restrained sips. Preparation tensed every muscle, the envelope of documents heavy in her bag like a loaded weapon. Introspection enveloped her, This momentary pause before the storm allowed reflections on the fractured path, her journalistic integrity compromised, marriage in ruins, yet the pull of blood ties undeniable. Memories surfaced organically, holidays alone after the split, crafting imaginary letters to her sister, now real in this impending reunion laced with deceit. The locket rested against her collarbone, its frayed chain a motif now of tentative healing, threads mending in precarious patterns. Victor had provided one last tip, a burner phone trace linking Marcus to Isabel's past relocations, heightening the stakes, but Elena savored the calm, sensory details sharpening focus, the warm steam rising from her cup, the fading light painting the street in amber hues, the faint vibration of her phone silenced in her pocket. This interlude built tension, a breath before the plunge, where she steeled herself for confrontation, alliances tested, and truths that could either bind or break forever. As night fully claimed the streets, Elena crossed to the brownstone, the door opening to Isabel's wary silhouette, the hallway light spilling out like an interrogation beam. The high-stakes sequence unfolded in charged silence, Elena stepping inside, door clicking shut behind her, the air thick with the scent of herbal tea and underlying tension. Actions decomposed into deliberate movements, Elena producing the documents, spreading them on the kitchen table with steady hands, Isabel's fingers hovering before touching, then recoiling slightly. The built-up tensions climaxed as Marcus arrived unexpectedly, summoned perhaps by a silent alarm, his entrance shattering the fragile standoff. Sensory layers intensified, the sharp intake of breaths, the cool hardwood underfoot, the faint metallic taste of adrenaline. Introspection flashed through Elena, facing both betrayer and blood, her worldviews clashed, Isabel's mirroring pain evident in trembling hands, Marcus's defensiveness in averted eyes. The confrontation escalated through gestures, a pointed finger at incriminating photos, Isabel's head shake of denial turning to slow nod of admission, Marcus's attempt to intercede met with Elena's firm push away. Victor emerged from shadows outside, his role as guardian ally revealed, adding layers to the chaos. The locket swung wildly during the scuffle, its motif embodying the converging fractures. Antagonistic forces embodied in Marcus's pleas and Isabel's tears culminated in a raw, action-driven unraveling, truths spilling like blood from old wounds. The confrontation's aftermath lingered in a disheveled kitchen, chairs askew and papers scattered, the air heavy with the acrid scent of spilled tea and raw emotion. To achieve her goal of truth and potential reconciliation, Elena made the sacrifice. She destroyed the documents in the sink, flames from a lighter consuming them in controlled bursts igniting the edge, watching curls of smoke rise, extinguishing remnants under running water. This act gave up her tangible evidence, a part of herself. The relentless journalist who hoarded proofs now surrendered for the intangible hope of rebuilding with Isabel. Sensory details pierced, the heat licking her fingers, the crackle of burning paper, the sooty taste in her mouth. Introspection deepened, letting go of vengeance meant releasing her belief in absolute justice, forged from childhood abandonment, but necessary to save the sisterly bond. Memories interwove the locket's origin, a gift from their mother before the split, now symbolizing the ultimate mending through loss. Marcus watched, his role as obstacle diminished, the relationship irreparably altered. The price was immense, her marriage, her professional edge, a core belief in exposure over empathy. Yet in this giving, Elena committed to a new self, scarred but open, the motif of the frayed chain now representing deliberate breaks for stronger weaves. The kitchen air hung thick with the acrid residue of charred paper, wisps of smoke curling lazily toward the ceiling as water dripped from the faucet into the sink's sooty remnants. Elena stood amid the debris, her hands blackened and trembling, the physical toll manifesting in singed fingertips and a raw throat from inhaled fumes, while emotionally, waves of exhaustion crashed over her, leaving her hollow yet strangely unburdened. Isabel slumped against the counter, her face streaked with silent tears, body language conveying a mix of relief and devastation. Shoulders hunched, hands clasped tightly. Marcus lingered in the doorway, his features etched with defeat, the confrontation's echoes in his averted gaze and disheveled shirt. Sensory aftermath enveloped them, the cool tile underfoot grounding Elena's dizziness, the faint metallic tang of adrenaline lingering on her tongue, the distant hum of city traffic seeping through cracked windows like a reminder of the world beyond. Introspection settled in. The sacrifice of evidence had quenched the immediate fire of betrayal, but scars remained. Trust incinerated, relationships altered irrevocably. Memories flickered, the childhood separation now bridged in pain, Marcus's once comforting presence now a shadow of loss. Victor, having slipped away into the night, left his informant role fulfilled, his absence underscoring the solitude of consequences. The dust settled slowly, physical chaos mirroring emotional wreckage, as Elena absorbed the fallout. Her pursuits end not in victory, but in fragile truce, bodies and spirits bearing the bruises of unveiled truths. Weeks blurred into a tentative rhythm, the city awakening to crisp autumn mornings where Elena walked solitary paths in the park, leaves crunching underfoot with each deliberate step. Heel down, roll to toe, propel forward, the earthy scent mingling with fresh dew. Her world re-established in fragments, journalism assignments resumed with a sharper edge, her apartment cleared of Marcus's belongings, now echoing with newfound space. Isabel integrated cautiously, their meetings in quiet cafes unfolding through shared gestures, passing old photos, lingering touches on hands, building bridges over the chasm of years. Emotional growth manifested inwardly. Elena's introspection revealed a shattered yet resilient self, the want for family realized in bittersweet form. Her external goals shifted from exposure to quiet healing. Memories wove through daily life, the locket's chain repaired subtly, symbolizing mended fractures, no longer frayed but reinforced. Sensory details anchored the equilibrium, the warm steam of herbal tea during sisterly confessions, the faint vibration of incoming texts now from Isabel, the cool breeze carrying hints of change. Marcus faded into periphery, his architecture firm a distant landmark, their parting a mutual dissolution without rancor. Victor occasionally checked in via cryptic notes, his guardian role evolving into sporadic ally. Forever changed, Elena emerged not unbroken but transformed, her noirish suspicions tempered by empathy, the psychological thriller of her life resolving into guarded optimism amid lingering shadows. Under a starless night sky, Elena stood on her balcony, the city sprawled below in a tapestry of flickering lights, the cool railing pressing into her palms as wind whispered through her hair, carrying the distant scent of rain and urban pulse. In this quiet moment, she unclasped the locket, holding it up to the faint glow of a street lamp, its silver surface reflecting evolved facets, once a symbol of loss, then fracture, now wholeness forged through trial. Introspection closed the circle. The journey from weary isolation to resonant connection imparted a final tone of melancholic hope, themes of betrayal and reunion intertwining like the chain's links. Memories echoed softly the rain-slicked streets of that first night, now paralleled in this serene vigil, the sensory full circle in the chill air mirroring her initial exhaustion but tempered by peace. No grand resolutions, just the subtle shift in her stance, body relaxed yet vigilant, the psychological depths plumbed leaving her wiser, scars a testament to survival. The locket clicked shut, returned to her neck, its motif imparting closure, a quiet echo of beginnings, evolved into enduring legacy.